All right. So, welcome everyone. My name's Anita Thompson. I think everyone knows me on here, but I'm going to introduce myself anyway. I hope you're all doing well this beautiful Thursday night, and I thank you for joining me, even though the weather is really nice right now. But thank you for deciding to hang inside and create the Destination Everywhere drawing. So this is about 6 inches by 6 inches. It's watercolor paper. We're going to be using obviously pencil to draw, a very fine tip black marker. If you can try to make it so that it is water resistant, you'll find that out at some point if we add the watercolor, and the pen, it's kind of like right near the pen, but we're going to add it afterward just in case. Ah, Michael's coming on. Nice. Hey, Michael. I'm going to recopy the chat for you so you know all the things you need tonight. It's not all the things, but all right. Okay, so I was saying pencil, also the very fine tip black marker, and a basic set of paints. I like to use the blue, but you can use blue, purple. You can splatter it. You can, have some fun with this. You can make it more of a grayish blue, whatever you want to do. Okay, so we're going to get started here. And we're going to start with obviously our pencil. And I'm going to zoom in so that you can see a little better. And we're going to get started first with the circle. So we're going to try and get it in the center of our square. And basically, oh, did someone else come on? Oh, nope, I'm good. Okay. So basically, we're going to start off with the outside circle. The way we're going to do it is we start off with the shape of the circle. We're then going to draw the inside shape of the circle. And then we're going to start with the big star. So I just wanted to kind of let you know how we're starting to do it. And off we go here. So you're going to look at the center of your paper. And you could sort of, just eyeball it, start making your circle around. If you have something to trace, that's a good thing. I don't know that I have anything that trace. I just sort of free-handed this. So I'm going to do that here. So sometimes it takes a while to get that perfect circle. No worries if it's not perfect. You want to get to the point where it's the best you can do. Okay. All right, so there is our circle. So the other thing is, if you feel like your circle is too large or too small, you can then add in the part either inside or outside the circle. So I'm going to go inside my circle and add the second part here. Now again, just take your time. You're also going to want to take a look at everything once you draw this second circle. I can tell that, you know, in areas, mine has to be a little bit thinner, thicker. So I'm taking a step back and taking a look right now and fixing it. It's very helpful if you erase. Nice, John Paul. I love it. That is a great circle. So what I like to do is kind of start to erase some of the lines that I created as I'm trying to create the circle, because then that way it kind of helps with seeing if I need to make the circle part thinner or thicker. So I'm just doing that now. Okay. Whoops. Every time I fix one part, another part kind of goes awry. So after a while, it's like you just have to leave it be. All right. So now that we have our circle, we're going to start with our star. So basically, same idea. You kind of want to go in the middle of your circle. And I like to kind of draw a dot in the middle of my circle. That's going to be the dot that's going to connect all of these shapes. And then what I like to do is I like to start off by making an X. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect. And if you have to adjust your X, you can. This is just the center or close enough to it. The other thing I like to do is then start off with the lines in the center of each part of the star. So coming here back to the center, I'm going to draw out the first star at the top, or at least the line. And then the two parts or two lines over here from the X, you can then connect them to create your star. Now, like I said, this isn't exactly a perfect way to make it. Like you see, I kind of have to adjust in the middle here, but it gives you a little more of sort of a map on how to create these. I think my X is off. There we are. Yep. Okay. So that's our first one. And then you're going to continue doing the next one. So here's our next one. So I'm going to go in the middle again, and I'm going to extend out the middle line, right past your circle. And then again, that line is going to meet up with the second part. And we're going to keep going around and doing that. So here we are at the bottom. Like so. And the final one. So again, you may have to adjust your center line from the stars. You want to start erasing the circle that gets in the way after you've completed the star. And this is where you can make adjustments to your star. You want to take a look on each part and see maybe where you have to move a line or so to make it look a little more even. Like for instance, this one here, I either have to move my center line. You know, the other thing you could do, you could use a ruler. I did this freehand, so, but you could use a ruler. So now I'm just adjusting each parts of the star, just looking at each one, fixing them. And then we're going to start with the smaller ones, which are behind here. And the first one starts off on the left. Here's our center line. And that's going to start off as the large one. And we're going to go around each section and do the same. Oh, I'm taking a look here and I just realized this line needs to be a little bit thicker here. There we go. Okay, so basically the line that is for the next smaller star should almost line up with your X line. So I'm just recopying it just to show you. See how this line matches up. So I'm going to keep going here. Here's my next one. Right? And I drew the center line, approximately where the center is here. And just working our way around to make a larger triangle. And then we're going to make our two smaller ones on either side. So for instance, I like to start off, and I'm going to move in really close so you can see. I like to start off again with lines, the lines in the middle, and then create the smaller stars. And I'm going to do that going around. And if you have to rotate your picture because it makes it easier, please do so. So remember the center line first of the triangle. And then you create the smaller triangle. This one has to stick out a little more. And then you can just go back, take a look, and make sure that you like what you see. I wanted this one to stick out a little more to the right. So I adjusted it. Okay. Nice, John Paul. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Love it. Okay. So our next step, we're going to go on the left top corner here, and we're going to create our balloon. It's pretty small. Everything's pretty small in this drawing, but that's okay. It's what makes it fun. So we're going to create first our balloon shape. So kind of a circle, like so. And then basically, it's going to be shaped like this. So that's the first part of your balloon. And then we're going to make this bottom part like a basket. So we're going to come over here, make a line. So you're making that line inside these two lines, and then you're going to make a basket that looks three-dimensional. You can make your basket look any way you want. It can be facing another way. You can put a design on the top of it. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. And then I add some strings. And I like to add clouds around it. So you can draw the clouds if you want, or what you can also do is when you get in there with your watercolor, you can create the clouds around these shapes. And I'll show you how to do that if that's something that you want to do. So we're going to stick to the left side here first. So we're going to go down here to the left, and we're going to create our anchor. So let me just move this camera a little bit more so you can see the anchor here on the left. So our anchor is coming in at an angle. Oh yeah, I can zoom in on the basket, as a matter of fact. And then there's this one too. So I add some lines, obviously, with the black pen when we get to that part. Oh, nice, John Paul. That looks great. Up in the clouds. I love it. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to go even close. Let me see if I can get closer. Let's do this. I'm just going to adjust my camera here. Excuse my the squeaky part here. Okay. So we're going to come down here and we're going to start our anchor here. So we're going to start at the top and basically the line in the anchor. So we're going in the middle. So this line in the middle, so that we know that the anchor is leaning. And then we're going to make, again, sort of another cross. And basically, we're now going to make lines around the anchor going downward on either side. And then you can erase that line here because that's going to be the part that is sticking out in front of it. We have kind of the handle part here, and we have a little bit of it disappearing behind our compass. So erase any lines that don't make sense. And then we're going to start to add some curving to the bottom part of your anchor. You can curve up the edges. And then you're going to come down into a point like so. And then you're going to make sure to come up top to create the top part, the roundish part of the anchor, like so. Oh, and I'm realizing in this one, I should probably make my star a little bit longer, or this part a little bit smaller. I'm going to try and make this part a little smaller. Yep, that did it. Okay. Now we need to make some waves, right, behind here. So curving, kind of curving points. Like so. You can make double ones, you can make single ones. You're going to do the same at the bottom of the anchor and on the side of it so that it looks like it's sort of in the water. You know, and then we'll go back later, obviously, and we'll be adding the black pen. And there's our anchor so far. We'll go back after and add more detail with the black pen. And so that's going to take us up to the right hand corner. Oops, let me move this over. There we go. Sorry about all the adjusting. So that's going to take us up to the right hand corner or around here. And we're going to make mountains. So mountains and a forest. So I'm just going to show this up close. You can get more detailed than this. I started kind of drawing clouds, but again, I might do the thing where I create clouds in pencil, but then I go around them with the blue. Like I said, I'll show you how to do that. But first, let's focus on the mountain area here. So let me move this over a little more. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go around here. Now, the other thing is if you need to twist your paper, you can do that too. But I'm going to start off with kind of a curvy line, and we're going to make these mountain peaks. Right now, they're just going to look like triangles. And then make smaller ones in the background. You can make as many as you like. I might add some to this one here. Add a little more than I have on my sample. And then I also like to add a little bit of some curving lines to make it look like a little bit of land. And then obviously we need some snow-capped tops. So just a little bit of a squiggle will do that. So I'm just going to show this up close. And we'll start going in for our trees. And we've got these little trees down here. And basically, we start off with making lots of lines. You can start to kind of extend the trees outward a little bit away from your mountains if you want. I'm going to add a few more mountains here. And then, you can make your trees any way you want. You can make them, I'm going to kind of show two things here. You can make them like a Christmas tree. You can make them like this. You can also even make them where you kind of scribble. And obviously it's going to look different once you add the ink. So you want to decide how you're going to do that part. And again, we've got clouds you can add and birds to the sky. More clouds. You can add lots of clouds. When I did this sample, I was kind of in a rush, so I didn't add as much detail as I wanted, but I figured everyone would do their own thing and add their own originality to it. So you're welcome to do that. And then our final part in the pencil part is going to be the little piece of land that is right on the edge here. You can make it shaped however you like. There's also another little piece there. Oh, and I'm kind of going into my trees here. And then I like to make it look three-dimensional by adding in the parts where it's sort of the land goes in. I like to add a little bit of some dark part of it and then add two little islands like so. And then we can go on and we're going to add, little light lines to it afterward. So if you want to add some of those now, you could, but you don't have to. So now we are going to start adding our watercolor. So what we do is we add the watercolor first, then we kind of dry it off a little bit. And then we add the final part, which is the pen. So you want to make sure you have some water. blue and maybe purple or whatever color you want to do your sky. It doesn't have to be blue. It could be, it could be anything, really. So I like to start off with my bigger brush. I used both a small round brush and a big round brush, and then sometimes a flat brush as well. So you can use either one. It calls for a flat brush and a round brush, but whatever makes it easier for you to kind of go around first in big clumps with your blue. Oh, John Paul, that looks amazing. Nice. Beautiful. I can't wait to see what these look like. I think they're all gonna look so unique. All right, so I'm bringing my water in here and gonna put my blue over here. I don't have a whole lot of blue left in this one, but I'm gonna see if I can eke some out. If not, I have another one. So here I am adding blue. Oops, you know what? I'm gonna move that because it's creating a shadow. So if you want it lighter, you can obviously do some mixing on the side here and add more water to it. If you want it a little bit darker blue, you can add some black. I'm going to do that now for this one. So see, I just changed a bit of that blue color. You can also add a little bit of brown, and it's going to make it a darker blue. Let me grab my, see that? That is a darker blue than what I had originally. Yep, definitely darker. And then I'm going to start moving that around. So again, you can move it. Oh yeah, nice, John Paul. Yep, that's the color. That is the color. You can move it around to make it look like clouds. You can also cover the entire section of your background. It doesn't have to be where, I kind of have it that it looks like, it's not covering all the areas. You can, if you want, to cover your whole square here. So I'm starting to go a little bit lighter. And then I'll go back and make it a little bit darker. So I just add a little more water. And coming down here to the bottom. Basically using your background color. Oops, I need to mix a little more here. A little bit of brown. There we go. And adding more water so that it's lighter. And then also deciding how close I want to go to my star. You can go really close. You can even go on the inside of the star, like in this area. I'm going to do that for this one. Again, you don't have to. You can also switch to your smaller brush for that. So again, I'm kind of making it lighter here at first, and then I'm going to go back in and add more layers of a little bit more darker blue. Kind of want to give it that look of it looks a little bit antique looking. You can add some yellow if you like. You can do that on the star. You can do it on the land. Again, you can make this your own. Doesn't have to look like the sample. So here's my first go around, and now I'm going to switch. Yes, there is a pen. Michael, let's see. So this is a very fine tip pen. This one, I got this off of Amazon, and honestly, this one is not, I don't think this one's the best to go with the watercolor, but we're doing the watercolor first. So you want to test it on another piece of paper. And the way you would do that is you would make a line and then grab some water. Yep. This one's okay. It's not the best, but you want to see if that line runs, if the color runs. If it does, then your pen might not be so great. And you can test that on another piece. So now I'm going to go back with my smaller brush, and I'm just going to add some more blue. Yeah, Elizabeth, I did hear that. The Micron is good with the watercolor. I know. I ran out of my Microns like a while ago, and I never replaced them. And I need to do that. Thank you for reminding me and letting us all know that that Micron is good with the with the watercolor. So now I'm going back and I'm just adding some darker blue. I'm kind of going around and around in sections to make it look sort of layered, but also a little bit, I don't know, dreamy, I guess. Just kind of going around in circles with my watercolor. When you're ready, you then want to make sure that it's dry. I'm going to go around inside it. Since I decided to do that with this one, just taking my time inside here. All right, and then when you are ready, you want to make sure it's dry. So I kind of just go like this. You can also grab a hair dryer. Since these are small, doesn't really take too long to dry. But you do want to make sure it's completely dry before you start to add the pen. You can kind of rotate your square in the light and see if there are any shiny parts. There still is on mine, so I'm going to let it dry a little bit longer. I had somebody write and ask if they could add colored pencils to it. And I said, absolutely. So that's another thing you could add. You could add colored pencils afterward. I think that would look really neat. Kind of make it look almost like, I love that antique look, about like an antique map. I picture like a golden, kind of a golden yellow with the star. I don't know. Kind of doing a check here. I think it might be dry. We'll give it a few more minutes for everybody. Let's give it a kind of another 4 minutes or so. You want to grab some water, use the facilities or a snack. You have the opportunity to do that right now. Just to let it dry a little bit. Kind of like both blues. It's interesting because, again, I started off with just using the pure blue, but kind of liking this darker blue too. Just cleaning up my brushes right now. Now another 2 minutes and we'll get started back with the pen. If you need to test your pen, right now is a good time to do it. Even though, you know, hopefully your watercolor is dry enough. And we're going to start making all kinds of marks. We're going to start off with the circle again, recopying on that in black. And we're going to add some curved lines around it. You're welcome to add another different design to that area. Um, you can make it a little more detailed if you like. Just thinking what you might be able to do to it. Maybe um, make it some of the lines more curvy or zigzag like a little bit. I don't know. I'm almost picturing something that you would see in Italy, or kind of like the stone, the marble work. Okay, so just double check. Make sure your watercolor's dry, and we're going to get started. So we're going to start first in the circle, and we're also going to be erasing the pencil lines when we're done. So starting on the inside of the circle, following it around. I like to rotate mine. You might also be able at this part to kind of fix any lines using your black marker or black sort of marker type pen. All right, so, oops, here we are. So there's the first part of the circle. And then I'm gonna go around the outside. And just take your time, follow the lines. Also make sure not to smudge the black by resting your knuckle on the parts that you've already done. I've done that before. That's why I'm saying make sure it's dry before you do that. I've definitely done it when I've been teaching too. Can't remember what piece I did that with, but I remember doing it. Okay. And then I like to go ahead and do the star areas. You know, you're going to make some parts a little bit darker, like the center of the star. So basically, what I'm doing is kind of outlining everything and then going back and creating the detail in each section. So right now, just outlining on top of all the lines for the star. And then we'll go back and erase the pencil. And then we'll freehand some of the details, or a lot of the details. So take your time as you're going around. Oh, wow, John Paul, that looks amazing. Wow, I love that blue. I'm kind of liking this blue a little better than my sample blue. Sometimes that happens. It's like I'll create a sample, and then when I redo it, when I'm teaching, I find a better way that I liked how I did it originally. Okay. So after you complete the star, you then want to start going around and adding minimal details to the rest of what you've drawn. So basically, just copying over the other parts that you've drawn in pencil, but then we're going to go back and we're going to make all the detail. Make it, you know, some of the lines a little darker. We're going to add some shading using our pen, right? How we create those smaller lines that are close together. It's very much like shadowing. Okay. So yeah, we're even outlining pieces of land. But again, we'll go back and make some parts of it where we'll add darker areas and then light lines. But for now, we just want to get everything copied in pen for the most part. Just take your time. Remember to add in some of the waves, at least where they're going to be. You can always add more. And maybe just some general wavy shapes. And when you're ready, you can erase your pencil lines. So in one more minute, we're going to start making this a lot more detailed. All right, so we're going to start first with the balloon. And I'm going to go in really close now. And so what we're going to do, we're going to make the top of the balloon, the little part at the top, a little bit darker there. And we're going to start to add some light lines that are close together at the top of the balloon for shading. And we're going to do the same at the bottom of the balloon, so the balloon part. Now you can then go back and darken up some of your lines by repeating doing that so that it looks like it's a little more shadowed. You would have some more shadow right at the top of your balloon and then maybe at the bottom here. See how I keep kind of going over my lines? And when you get to the basket, You can also start to make some of these lines and a little bit darker inside the basket to make it look like it's three-dimensional. And that's where you can sort of add some of these little lines coming off of the basket to make it look like sort of like those, I don't know what you call them on balloons, but I've seen them where they're kind of coming off of the round part. It's like lines. It almost looks like a kite string. Maybe it's for decoration. That's why I added these. And then you can add some more lines that are holding the basket to your balloon. And I'm just going to show that up close, really close to show you. And this is where, if you want, you could add some black to the clouds on the outside, like I did on this one. I'm not going to do that on this one, although what I might do is just add some really light kind of curved lines to indicate the clouds on this one. Kind of like doing that. So I'm kind of doing it very feathery, tracing around the white part of the cloud. I'm going to go really close so you can see. And this part too. Kind of like that. A little better than how I originally did it. And I'm going to start to then move on over. So basically, we do the star last. I like to. So I'm coming over here on the right side, creating more of those clouds. I'm going to start adding in some birds, right? They just kind of look like little V's. And you want to make them a little bit smaller going off into the distance. Okay. And then as far as the ground and the land, you're going to start adding some scribbling or individual lines, and especially to the mountains in the back. So the ones that are in the front, maybe not so much, maybe a few lines, but the ones in the back, treat your pen as if you are shading, because that's exactly what we're doing. We're adding some detail, but we're also adding shading. So when there's a part that you feel like it needs to be a little darker, you then go back on top of it again with your pen. So the parts that would be a little darker, behind in the mountain areas, sort of in the crevices where the points, like these parts, the top parts is supposed to be snow. So you kind of want to leave that a little bit white. And let's not forget our trees. So you're doing a few things with this landscape. You're adding trees, a forest. You can add the trees as close to each other as you can. You can also spread them out a little bit. can make a little guy climbing the mountain. Trying to remember, I did a kids program one time and we were doing mountains, something with mountains. And one of the kids did that and I thought it was hilarious. He added this like little guy that looked like, it was really far away. So it looked like a stick figure, but it was so funny. It just reminded me as we're doing this. So make as many or as little of the trees as you want. You can start adding some dots of with your pen on the land. And you're going to start moving when you get it, when you feel satisfied. You're then going to start moving to the right side of your land. And you're going to darken up around your land and also the parts that are sort of kind of coming inward. So it's almost like you're making a shadow around the land, but it's not. It's like a three-dimensional, almost like if you were to look at the land from above, and you could see that it's sort of three-dimensional. And then you're going to add some light lines on top of the land to kind of give it a little bit of texture. As we're going around, we're going to come to obviously our two final areas. Our first is going to be on the bottom left here, our anchor. So again, you want to make sure that everything else is dry around this area. We've already outlined our anchor, but we now want to go and create some shadowing. And I'm going to put this one right above so you can kind of see what to do on the anchor. And I'm also going to move my camera up just a little bit. So here we go. So the anchor in the water, we're going to be adding some darker lines right to the inside of the handle part, and then a little bit kind of where it meets the middle section. This being the middle section. And we have some line work going down the left side of the middle of the anchor. And as it gets to the bottom, it kind of trails off a little bit. We're also going to draw a little bit of a kind of a shadow area on either side. And also add 2 curved lines so that then we can create some more shading at the bottom of the anchor here. And then you want to get into the water. Oh, and I forgot the one bar right above that you can add some line work to, especially underneath the bar here. And as far as the waves go, I like to kind of redraw over the main sections of the curved areas so that the waves are a little darker, kind of stick out a little more. And then go back and add some curved light lines to indicate that around the waves is still a little bit darker in some areas. So I'm just going back and adding some curved light lines, kind of in a wave fashion, all around. Sometimes you make the lines a little bit behind the waves, and then you can add some, in the water area. And I like to add a little bit more in between the anchor, where the anchor is and where the star is. You can even add those lines in the other part of the ocean part here, if you like. And we're coming up on the last part and the final part of our star, where we start to go around in the circle part first and create these curved lines all the way around, starting off on the left, and then they kind of change direction at the bottom. So first going around sort of the ring part. Actually, they don't really change direction. I don't know why I said that. It kind of looked like it did for a second. I'm like, did I really change direction? I did not. I apologize. I like to go back and make them a little bit darker and close together. The lines, I mean. And I also like to go back and trace the outside of the circle, the inside, just to make it a little bit darker and stand out more, depending on how thick your pen is. My pen is very thin, so I want to make that area a little bit darker. Same with the outer part of the circle. I know we are almost finished. I see that we're running over a few minutes. And I think we started about 5 minutes after, so I think we're kind of on time. And now we're going to start with the shading that makes it look a lot more detailed than it really is. So the shading is really just lines that go towards the center. Oh, wow, Michael, that looks beautiful. Oh, I love how you did around it. That is beautiful. Oh my goodness. So excited to see these. So you're going to kind of do every other with the lines here. You can get a little darker as you go towards the center of the star, going darker as far as like you can add more lines on top of one another to indicate that it's a little bit darker. You don't have to. And then also making sure you do on the left side of each of the smaller stars. As you can see, they are slanted lines. Again, I think it looks a lot more detailed than it really is because these are just slanted lines that are indicating that there's shading there. And the smaller ones, you can go a little bit darker with your lines if you want, because then it looks like they're in the back even more. If you want, you don't have to. And voila. We have a destination everywhere drawing with our compass. I'm going to give it one more minute and then I want to see what everyone's looks like. Okay, so I'm going to remove my spotlight. And if you would like to go on gallery view and show yours, you can also unmute. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh, Jean and Michael.
Go, Gene.
Wow.
Thanks.
These look incredible.
Go, Jordan.
Oh my gosh. Crystal, that is beautiful. So I know that Jordan is Crystal.
Oh, I apologize. Go,
No, that's
Crystal.
okay. That's okay.
No, I can't figure out how to change it. So
It's all Oh, Kimmy, I'm so glad you thought it was fun. Let me take it to there. And I
There we go.
know this one can take, takes a while. Especially. Oh, wow. I love it. Oh, what does yours say, Joan? Let me see.
Oh, I just joined the Coast Guard as a civilian in technology. So it says Semper Paratus. That's their motto, always ready.
Always ready.
Thank you for your
Oh my
service.
gosh.
Yeah,
That's
so I
awesome.
got started last week. It's a remote job at a headquarters.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Oh, what's this?
So I thought I should
Center?
make it applicable.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. Wow,
Well, I'm
congratulations.
sorry I called you Jordan, but good job.
Oh, beautiful, Debbie. Did you add yellow?
Oh, you had the gold.
I added
Go,
like
Debbie.
like
Oh,
a
that looks
sienna,
nice.
a sienna brown a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I like it. It went for the antique.
Looks really good.
Yes.
I
That's
like
really
it.
good.
Yeah, I like the
Nice
yellow.
touch.
Wow. And
Thanks.
John Paul, I love yours too. Wow, these all look
They
so
look really
good.
different. They look really neat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go, John Paul.
Yes.
Who added purple? Did anybody add purple or pink?
Little
So
bit of
that's-
purple.
A little bit of purple. Let me see.
Oh,
But
okay.
I like yours, Debbie, with the gold on the face. Is like the
Yes.
antique
That
gold.
looks
on the
pretty
face.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal that. I might go back and do a little gold on the face.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
That does look really good. Yeah.
Debbie, you're a designer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just took Anita's
Wow.
idea. That's all.
Yeah, but that was just because somebody suggested it. But this looks amazing. I love it. These look all so good. Beautiful.
Well,
Good job,
Pump, thanks very
everyone.
much for all the positivity. Love the class, Pump.
Yeah. Thank you,
Pump
Michael.
Thompson.
I'm going
I
to do this
try, I
again next
try.
Monday.
Yes,
Okay.
next Monday.
Warminster is doing this one.
Oh, who's doing that one?
I think Warminster's doing this next Monday.
Warminster. Yep.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I was-
sorry. I apologize.
Actually, I
they're not
think
in July.
I was going to say Warminster's in July. I
Yeah, they're doing
think.
this in July.
Yeah, next Monday we have, and I'm going to put out a newsletter tomorrow.
Oh, the lighthouse.
The Lighthouse. Yep.
Yeah, there's a couple lighthouses, right? There's a couple
There is
places.
a couple. Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
We've got.
what do you think of mine?
Oh my
what do you think of
gosh,
mine?
John Paul.
Coming. Nice,
It
John.
is
Wow.
beautiful.
Love
Good
the
job.
blue.
That looks like
Nice,
something from a you see in a magazine or something.
I love
Yeah,
the dark blue.
I agree.
Oh,
Very nice.
I
Was that-
absolutely agree.
Was that blue and black together, do you think? Is that what made it so dark?
Yeah, right. John Paul, did you put black with the blue? Did you mix
Did you put black in your blue? Did
to
you
get
put
the
black in-
darker blue?
Dark blue.
No,
It's-
okay.
No, I don't use it. I don't use a black and blue. I just use dark blue.
Dark
Oh,
blue?
you have,
Nice.
yeah, you've got
Okay.
you've got the
'Cause it's
nicer
like-
watercolors.
It's like a stormy. Like a stormy
Yeah,
background. I like that.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
Very nice.
Well, Debbie, thanks very much for the tip here. I'm going to go back and add a little bit of
Yeah, the gold.
antique,
I
antique
know,
gold.
I
Yeah.
know, me too.
Ooh.
Very
Me
cool.
too. I like that.
All right.
Well,
Yeah, we
take a
want to see the
picture.
final result.
Yes, Yes.
Everything's done.
Anita,
Hey.
question for you.
sure.
Now that we did all the ink,
Yeah.
And it's a waterproof pen, whatever
Mhm.
SIPA, whatever this one is. Can
Yep.
you go back over and add touches of
Yep.
watercolor?
You can. Yes. Yes. As long as your pen is water resistant, you can
Mhm.
absolutely do that. Because I was thinking of that too. I thought maybe I'll add, you were talking about you have the gold. I actually just got metallic watercolors that I want to try out. I feel like this might be fun to do.
Well, actually, it wasn't gold. I used a sienna brown, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
I think it was a sienna brown, and I just watered it way down.
It
Okay.
looks like Colonel Mustard or something. Looks really good.
It's with the lead pipe in the
In the library.
in
Yeah,
the
Colonel
library.
Mustard with the pipe in the library.
The Colonel Mustard, right?
Colonel Mustard.
Pardon
In
the
the
pun, yes, at the
conservatory.
library class. So yeah, Colonel Mustard with the lead pipe in the Warminster Library. All right, stop.
Yeah, in the library, right, with the
There you
book.
go.
He did it with the book.
Wait, that's right.
With the book.
Guys,
We'll make
thanks
our
so
own
much.
weapon.
I'll see you guys soon. Really appreciate all the
Sounds
positivity. It's
good.
so nice to see you guys. Thank you so much.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Send our
Bye. See you
love to
next
Renee.
time.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Good night.
Night.
Thank
I'll
you.
send you a copy of my picture.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Anita.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.